Hey guys, Evan O'Rourke here, back in another video, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Bandai 1995 Gyaos figure. Now don't quote me on this, guys, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is a newly released Bandai version of the 1995 Gyaos. Again, I don't know, it's just I remember when I gave the Christmas list to my family, when I put this in the list, I found it on Amazon for good amounts of prices, and I think it said something about newly released. I easily could be wrong, though, because I have vivid memory of when I put this on the Christmas list. But anyways, guys, as I said, with the Christmas list, this was in fact a Christmas present. I also hope you guys admire the new trees I got. I'm going to be using these in a lot. My sets is what I was referring to. As per one of the many things that are going to be changing about my sets is lots of new trees. I have to find bases for them. That's why they're stuck, like literally I stuck them in moss. So hopefully that's not a strategy that remains. I don't really like that. I kind of prefer them literally being in the ground, but I'll try my best. But anyways, guys, in terms of my favorite thing about this figure, it has to be the paint job. The paint job on this figure is absolutely wonderful. There are great shadings, color grading. I mean, it's absolutely great. Of course, I am fully aware that there's really only one main color. I technically consider there to be two. One for like this, I guess you could say, reddish, brownish color, and the bright orange that is on the wings. So I think that the paint job on this is very, very nice. Of course, it does get a little bit more of a brighter red that I think is more of a booming color on the claws there, as well as on feet claws. But again, very nice how it transitions into the orange from the brownish red to the orange on the wings. Of course, on the back, it also has the orange as well. So again, really nice shading between the orange and the red there, and I like how the booming colors, even though there are not many, there are in some areas, like I said, the claws, and even in the mouth by the tongue. I don't know if you guys can see there. But again, paint job on this is really, really nice. So let's get on to the next thing I like about this figure. So the next thing I like about this figure is the detail. Now the detail on this figure, in my opinion, is really, really nice. I'd like to say it's a little bit better than average versus the paint job being well over average. So I know I really do like it in general. I think it's very, very nicely done. In terms of what I mean by that is you can see nice veins here. Very nice detail on the veins and the wings. Also, nice scale-looking skin there on the chest. You can see kind of like his muscle outlines on the legs. Tail doesn't have a great amount of detail, but that's okay. You also have a lot of veins on the back. Nice scales on like his spinal cord. And facial detail is alright. I'd like to say it isn't as good as the wing detail or anything like that, but it's alright. It's good for what it is. Yeah, let's get into the next thing I like about this figure. Alright guys, so this is absolutely borderline articulation. Like, they are just so lucky to have pulled this off. It's just, I've noticed recently that a lot of the newly made Bandai figures are starting to get less and less good when it comes to articulation. I don't know why. When I reviewed Spark Dolls back in the day, I always considered their figures to be like, if they had like 3 joints of articulation, that was average. So 3 joints for Spark Dolls is about the average amount of articulation for it to be quote-unquote decent. And for Bandai, it is 4 joints of articulation, at least 4 for a Bandai figure. There should, in fact, be, in my opinion, maybe 6 or 7, but a lot of these newly released Bandai figures, guys, are not doing that. And this, in this case, as I said earlier, has 4. Only 4 joints of articulation. You have the legs right here. They don't go 360 because they're going to have to pass the wing, and the wing can't fully go back either. The wing does not have a great wingspan. As you can see, it's kind of limited to how far back it can go. And if it goes any more far back, then, you know, it could pop out. Of course, you can place it back in. It's not like anything too difficult to put back in, but I don't want to risk that, of course. So articulation on this, there's no head articulation. No, it's just the wings, which don't even move that much, and the legs. So I really just think that this is absolutely like on the borderline of a con. Absolute borderline of a con. But speaking of cons, let's get into the cons of this figure. So when it comes to the cons of this figure, I really have 2 pretty much major cons with this. The first one is kind of what we just talked about, and that is the wingspan. Now, I know the articulation was technically a pro, but that doesn't mean that the specific joints can't be a con. And in this case, it's the wingspan that, as I said earlier, I have a problem with. It does not go as far back as it should. Of course, you can easily tell that it can't go far back because once you start moving it, which you can a little bit in all fairness, but once you start moving it to the extent that, you know, maybe it'd be a little bit more than usual, you can see it pulling out of the socket there. That shouldn't be the case. Of course, I'm not a figure designer. I wouldn't know which ways to fix that, but I'm pretty sure the people who are figure designers would know how to fix that, but they chose not to. So I think the wings really need to go in a different position there. They need to switch things up a bit with that. So again, wings aren't so great. They should go further back. As for the second con, this figure does have a lot of standing problems. It might seem like it's standing okay now, but that's because I have to position the legs in a weird way. The tail here, similar to a lot of issues. Bandai has a lot, look at that, see? You didn't see me touch that, right? So Bandai has a lot of issues with this. Now it is. But Bandai has a lot of issues with this, where the tail might be a little bit too long to the point where it tips the figure forward. And I get that, but they could easily make the mold of this go higher up. Why do they have to have it pointing downward, which, as I said earlier, is going to cause the problem of right now it doesn't do it, but the problem of it tipping over, and trust me, it does happen, but that's because I have to put the legs in a very strange position for it to do that. So I don't exactly, appreciate that. I think that is kind of an issue. Again, that is, I take that back of that being a major con. I think that's more of a nitpick, but still, it really is something that I think they should have done a better job on. So all in all, I would rate this figure an 8.8 out of 10. For a Bandai figure and for it being newly released, it is another nice newly released quality figure for Bandai. I will say, however, that a lot of these newly released figures are not good when it comes to articulation. They're getting worse than a lot of their 90s figure predecessors. So yeah, but just remember that the articulation isn't so great. But other than that, highly recommend you get this, especially if you're a Gamera fan. I know I am, even though I didn't see this specific movie because I'm more of a Showa Gamera fan. But anyways, guys, yeah. Without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.